brutal to watch.
Speedster.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Hello and welcome to the Week 11 Rad Avenger League preview. 4 huge matchups this week. Almost every matchup matters. Raleigh and myself are playing for possibly the 1 seed. Definitely to be in the driver's seat for a first round bye. You have Tim and Wade playing each other to kind of also compete for a first round bye, and some important seeding there with them having the same record at 3 and 4. Trevor trying to play spoiler for Andrew at this point. Trevor kind of probably not technically mathematically eliminated, but probably eliminated from playoff contention, but still with a chance to ruin Andrew's season. And the biggest matchup this week by far is Charlie and Ashley playing to try to steal the 6 seed. If Andrew loses, they have a tied record, and I haven't done the math to figure out who wins the head-to-head. Actually, we could probably just look at it real quick if I wanted to, which I do really want to, and all of a sudden I'm forgetting to schedule. That's what it is. By team, we need either Ashley or... There she is. Ashley with a bad loss to Andrew in week 3, and they do not play again. So actually, if Ashley wins that, that's gonna get real interesting. Sorry, I'm doing live playoff picture right now. What about Charlie and Andrew? How did that game go? Oh, that's right, Andrew always beats Charlie. So funnily enough, Andrew still has the tiebreaker over both of them. So maybe it doesn't matter. And then John and Cameron play. So I kind of halfway did it right there, but let's officially go through the rankings. Top 2 didn't change. Raleigh at 8 and 2 in first place, myself at 7 and 3 in second place. We had a flip-flop in 3rd and 4th. Wade moving up to 3rd. Sorry, excuse me, Jesus. Wade moving up to 3rd, having the tiebreaker over Tim, who dropped to 4th. Both of them at 6 and 4. And then the same situation at 5 and 6. Cameron with a tiebreaker over Andrew at 5th and 6th, both at 5 and 5. And then the bottom 4 did not change at all. So Ashley and Charlie are tied at 4 and 6, at 7th and 8th respectively. Trevor drops down to 9th place, another just debilitating loss to Charlie actually, and John bringing up the rear in 10th. Let's go look at some waiver additions this week. Some interesting ads. We were actually just discussing, and just kind of give you a time frame of what time I'm recording this, because obviously it's going to come out late and you're all going to probably bitch about it. But Raleigh just brought up an interesting point about Trevor Lawrence and Miles Sanders hitting the waivers this week, and honestly it's probably too late, which is really sad to say, because they were both really excited about them coming in to the season. I think a lot of people were. Some interesting ads this week. We had John pick up more stock in the Texans, which is not a bad team to pick up stock in. Did he? Am I high? Oh, it's just showing me. What the fuck? I want all. There we go. There we go. Okay, I was gonna say, I just fucking looked at this. John picked up more stock in the Texans, added Devin Singletary and Noah Brown. Both coming off massive weeks. Noah Brown doing it twice in a row. Trey McBride goes to Ashley, and Jake Ferguson to Wade, which I was actually shocked that both of them were available, but I think Ashley had Jake Ferguson at one point and dropped him. Wade being the beneficiary of that now. A couple defenses, a couple kickers. I'm not really worried about them. Ty Chandler goes to Wade after the Cam Akers news, and him getting a bulk of the carries last week. I think, what did he have last week? 15 attempts for 45 yards. Is, it's not the worst stat line I've ever seen. Anyway, he got a bulk of the carries last week, and we'll see if that continues. And then Darrell Henderson being the only non-kicker, non-defense, and he goes back to Cameron, who I believe had him earlier this year at one point, but obviously he had a bye week last week. Just some shuffling of the roster there. The wheel. We got the wheel. Last week we had a smallest margin of victory. Ashley was able to take that away from John, which that game ended up being a lot closer than we wanted it to be. It honestly was a Tyler Conklin past breakup of his own teammate from Garrett Wilson away from being completely flipped and Ashley being eliminated, and us being down to like Charlie, Andrew, and Cameron for that last playoff spot. But Ashley did hang on. Garrett Wilson did not catch it. 5-point victory netted her $10. Let's see who is going to be the beneficiary of $10 this weekend, or at least what the game is. Before I spin this though, take a look at what's left. Highest scoring loser, largest margin of defeat, and then highest scoring kicker. If we get highest scoring kicker, these last 2 weeks are going to be so much fun with all the playoff implications that are still at play here. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna honestly be pissed off if they won $10 because it probably kicks them out of the playoff hunt. Anyway, let's spin this bitch. I always forget to switch the audio to my headphones, and I never noticed until this hits, and then it started blasting through my speakers. Oh baby, exactly how we drew it up, exactly how we wanted it. And honestly, I mean, this one's cool. Highest scoring kicker, whatever. But honestly, I'm more excited the last 2 weeks with all those playoff implications are going to come down to largest margin of defeat and highest scoring loser. So 2 people who are probably going to get eliminated from playoffs just on odds, or at least bump down a seed. There's going to be something dramatic with a loss of these 2 teams. Anyway, it's gonna be a fucking blast. So, highest scoring kicker. Anyway, that one's fun this week. That one actually feels like a Mario Party minigame with how fucking random it's gonna be. All right, down to the matchups this week. I'm gonna start right off the bat with what I think is gonna be by far the most intriguing matchup. I talked about it at the top. Ashley versus Charlie. Now, a game that this week will not cause a lot of movement, but has major implications going forward, assuming some other things fall into place. Mainly assuming that Andrew loses, which, spoiler alert, I'm going to pick him too. So, just basing it off of that, this will create a 2-team tie for the for 6th place. Could, if John can pull off the upset, could create a 3-way tie for the last 2 spots, with the loser of Tim and Wade being kind of right there in the mix. I think both of those teams are safe, but could, some interesting things going forward to think about. Anyway, let's talk about the game itself. I didn't even mention Josh Dobbs in the waiver report, but Charlie got him. Finally is getting away from Geno Smith. Praise God. Not that Geno's been terrible this year, but he hasn't been the Geno that we saw last year, and he hasn't been the points factor that we saw last year. So Josh Dobbs is getting the Denver Broncos, who I kind of had a revelation about the Broncos on Monday night. We know the Bills' offense is broken. We've talked about that at length. They haven't been able to score against anyone. But I do think we overstate how bad this Broncos defense is. I don't think they're that bad. When you watch them and you watch specifically the secondary, and really specifically Patrick Surtain, his ability to take away a side of the field is pretty gross. I think what happened is we saw, and obviously this is what happened. We saw the Dolphins go up and hang 70 on him. We saw him clown him. And we haven't got that out of our heads. And there's been a couple other games where they've looked really, really bad. But you got to think the last 2 weeks they've shut down Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Are those the same offenses? Absolutely not. Are they still both top 5 to 7 quarterbacks? Yeah, they're still very good. So anybody that can shut down those offenses, I don't care how they're playing, and beat them in back-to-back weeks is scary. Anyway, that's my rant on the Broncos. I'm done with it. So just know that any Vikings player and anybody playing against the Broncos going forward, I'm going to give them a little more respect. I do still think the run defense is suspect. James Cook is running fucking all over them. But the secondary, there's some pieces to like there. Anyway, Josh Dobbs is an electric factory. He's gone 22, 24, 25. His 5th game over 20 points. In each of those, in the last 4 games, he's had a rushing touchdown, one being with the Cardinals. And the last, I always forget if they fuck these schedules up because it's always weird when a guy changes teams mid-season. Anyway, he's had just some dominating performances going forward. Actually, yeah, this is 100% Kirk Cousins stats because that. Whatever. Josh Dobbs has been awesome the last 2 weeks for the Vikings. The Pastronaut, Astro Boy, whatever you want to call him. And obviously his rushing upside gives a lot of potential. I'm just kind of setting up the stage to not expect him to throw for 350 yards. Now, could he still put up 24 to 26 points with using his legs? Absolutely. And I'm dying and hoping it happens. And hoping we get a great primetime game out of it. Brock Purdy last week was all the way back. The 49ers are all the way back. They're back into my favorites for the Super Bowl. They never really were out of it. Teams have rough stretches. It happens. But they're still my favorite for the Super Bowl. And Brock Purdy had 3 touchdowns and almost 300 yards against the Jags, and they just fucking shit pumped him. And this week he gets the number 28 ranked secondary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I myself am excited about. So I love Brock Purdy this week. Obviously, we got a big George Kittle game last week with that one catch. Ayuk had the touchdown. Crazy. DeAndre Swift against Kansas City. Sneaky, once again, one of those brain things. Kansas City defense good. That's all I'm going to say. Rashad White against the 49ers. Hate that matchup too. But, oh shit, I forgot that Charlie was over here. So talking about Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle on the other side. I think that's going to nullify a lot of what Brock Purdy does, obviously. I think there's room this week for all 4 guys to just really pop off, especially considering that the strength of the Bucs is going to be the run defense. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the secondary for fucking Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, all of them. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Adam Thielen against the Cowboys. Fucking hate that matchup. Adam Thielen obviously is a reception machine. He's not a big play guy. This Panthers Cowboys game, somebody said earlier that maybe I saw on Twitter that it felt like the upset of the year. I don't think so. I think this is going to be closer to Cowboys Giants, Cowboys Jets, just absolute turnover fest, blowout, maybe a couple pick sixes. But Adam Thielen gets his reception, so what can you say? Najee Harris against the Browns. As much as I talked about the Broncos defense not being as bad as we thought they were, I don't think the Browns defense is as good as we thought they were. We've seen him get torched for a couple weeks in a row, I believe. Let me pull up, because I may just be talking out of my ass, but I feel like every time I watch them and I'm excited about their defense and to see how disruptive and dominant they're about to be, they're not. They're giving up just a ton of points. Schedule. Yeah, they gave up 31 to the Ravens, who, that's fine. 0 to the Cardinals, they stink. 24 to the Seahawks, 38 to the Colts. And then we go all the way back to that 49ers game where they shut them down. The week before that, 28 to the Ravens, 3 to the Titans. They stink. Yeah, I don't think the Browns defense is nearly as good as we gave them credit for. They had one good game against the 49ers. Anyway, that's my rant and it's over. That being said, Najee Harris is now being benched for Jalen Warren, and I think he's going to have a bad week. God, these matchups are scary. I don't like them. I think Charlie wins this week. I think that's what I just talked myself into. I don't love the George Pickens play, but like whatever. It's your flex. What are you gonna do? Put in Andy Isabella? Kareem Hunt actually is what you're gonna do. What you should do. But Charlie loves George Pickens, so whatever. Say la vie. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Charlie to win this one. Oh, the big hurt is no Jonathan Taylor. That's what Ashley's missing. That's what she's missing, absolutely, and that's why Najee's forced in there. Although I don't hate Chris Godwin as a flex over Najee. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I still think Charlie wins. I think the Debo Kittle connection there is going to be absolutely disgusting. And then Rashad White has a tough matchup, but so does DeAndre Swift. Now one of those is significantly better than the other, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna pick Charlie here. Now let's go to I think what is the second most intriguing matchup, which is myself and Raleigh. mostly because we're talking about the 49ers, so why not talk about the 49ers, you know? Yeah, the 49ers get Tampa Bay, just talked about it. Ayuk is their number one receiver, so I'm going to go there. Christian McCaffrey is the best receiving running back in the league, so awesome. Anyway, that's my 2 cents there. CeeDee Lamb, it might be my new favorite player of all time. 3 straight games with over 10 catches and over 150 yards. Last week he had 2 touchdowns, 1 on a jet sweep that I actually still haven't even watched the replay of. I was going for a walk in the park at that point. Yeah. And then I get Aaron Jones against the Chargers, which is the juiciest matchup I think in the whole schedule. I don't love CeeDee Lamb against the Panthers just because they're gonna run. I think we're finally gonna get a Tony Pollard week. Maybe whatever their other guy is. You know that guy. What's that guy's name? Dowdle? What? That. All right, look up live here. Cowboys running back depth chart. ESPN. Rico Dowdle. That was right. Maybe he just fully takes over, and whatever. But either way, I don't think they're going to air it out like they normally do. Can they? Yeah. Well, are they going to? Maybe not. Maybe they try to establish the run game for once. And then TJ Hawkinson against the Broncos. I learned a little fact this week. TJ Hawkinson and Josh Dobbs train together in the offseason. They're both from Tennessee. So they go home in the Nashville area and they throw together all offseason. So, fun fact. Just pull that out of my hat. Here's I'm gonna get right into it with the scariest thing on Raleigh's team, and it's AJ Brown playing Monday night. Once again, Kansas City, top 10 defense in the league, maybe top 5, maybe best. I don't know. Great defense. They're not the best. That's still Cowboys. Maybe the Ravens. Although they just gave up 31 to Deshaun Watson, who was fucking stunk for 2 years and now is dead. Thank God. Kansas City. AJ Brown loves to torture me. And I think he does it on purpose. And I think it's because I laughed at him and called him names when he pissed on the Ole Miss end zone. So, yeah, I'm not going to say anything bad about him. AJ Brown's very good at wide receiver, and I just know that no one's ever doubted you and that everyone believes in you, and we all think you're the best. So, you don't have to worry about any motivation or anything. Like, we all believe in you, and we think you're going to do great. Lamar Jackson continued his streak this week of the Ravens scoring over 30 points, and somehow he was only involved in like 1 touchdown or 0. So hopefully that continues. That would be awesome. And actually, I forgot that game's tonight. God, thank God we get that shit out of the way. I'll be really honest. I want to get him off the fucking board. I also want to get Raheem Mostert against the Raiders off the board. That, yikes. That's almost as bad, I think, as Aaron Jones against the Chargers. Actually, it's way worse because the Dolphins have a good offense and a great play caller. Austin Eckler against the Packers is also scary. Yeah, I don't like these. The only one I'm fine with is Stephon Diggs against the Jets. Against the Jets in week 1, he had, God fucking damn, he still had 100 yards and a touchdown. I thought Josh Allen had like 10 yards that game. How did he have 100? This is bullshit, dude. And Dalton Kincaid against the Jets. Okay. I can go look at his, even he had 26 yards and he wasn't even, I didn't even think he played that game. And David Montgomery against the Bears. Fuck. So here's the thing. I'm looking at all these matchups, right? And I'm talking it out. And this is why I think the website is the biggest, like, bullshit narc of all time. I'm projected 121 points. It was 122 yesterday. Don't know what changed. Don't ask me. I'm looking at Raleigh's matchups, and why is he only projected 108? Is it because the website can't get out of their head that Raheem Mostert is, a top 5 running back as long as he's in Miami? Is it because they can't realize that David Montgomery is still gross? Is it because he missed a couple games and we thought he was bad, and also revenge game against the Bears? I'm not saying that I'm not going to score 121. I'm just saying it's a travesty that you're only projected 110. However, saying all that, obviously, I think I'm going to win. So, good for me. And let's go to, let's break it up. Let's get over to John and Cameron. John was really close to winning last week. Really almost pulled it out. Was literally one palm away from winning that game. And instead, here we are talking about his 6-game losing streak. I'm so sorry, John. I've been there. It hurts. It's bad. The good news is Cameron is also reeling. He's lost 3 in a row. Sneaky team sucks. Where are you at in points for? Yeah. He's in second to last place in points scored. Ahead of only John, actually. It was just kind of interesting. So they've got a real game of the week here. I didn't realize Ashley was that low. I guess she had all those weeks without Saquon, without Jonathan Taylor, though, so that makes a little more sense. Sorry, my computer fucked up when I tried to refresh that. Anyway, Cameron Sneaky teams also sucks. He just got some cheap wins earlier in the year. One of them being over me. But good for him. I'm now realizing that all of my losses, I think, were Raleigh is my only loss from a team that is securely in the playoffs. Only loss from a team that has a winning record. A fun fact. Anyway, I think actually I might go back and look at Raleigh's losses too. I think he lost to Tim. And no, he beat Trevor. Oh, it was Andrew in week 1. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I'll go confirm that a little bit later. If I remember, I probably won't. Anyway, yeah, John and Wade. John and Cameron. Jesus fucking Christ. John has found an answer at quarterback, so that's good. CJ Stroud is awesome. CJ Stroud is the guy. As a Panthers fan, John, at least you found some solace in the fact that CJ Stroud is lighting it the fuck up. Devin Singletary coming off of his biggest game of the year and getting and probably maybe the biggest game of his career. That's the first time I've seen Devin Singletary do fucking anything. Despite Trevor's just absolute drive to start him every week last year. Yeah, good for him. Jahmyr Gibbs breakout against the Bears. It was like Jahmyr Gibbs has arrived. 3 straight games with over 100 scrimmage yards and at least 1 touchdown. Had 2 last week. We just saw the report that David Montgomery said, go score young butt, whatever he said to him. And now he gets the Bears, which is gross. Hollywood Brown now has a quarterback. Kyler Murray's back, so that's sick. And he gets what lately has been a shootout with the Texans. Oh my God, CJ Stroud versus Kyler Murray is gonna be so much fun. That game might sneaky be fucking awesome. I'm really excited about that. Garrett Wilson, sure. I mean, it's the same we talk about every week. Garrett Wilson is awesome. Garrett Wilson would probably be a top 5 receiver if he had a quarterback. With Zach Wilson, who is, as far as I'm concerned, incapable of throwing a downfield pass. He's gone 93, 80, 190 in his last 4 games. His only real straight up dud was week 3 against the Patriots. But even then, I mean, I guess week 5 he only had it's really sad to see. I'm sorry. Dalton Schultz has been awesome just because CJ Stroud's been awesome. Awesome in tight end standards anyway. And I love Scary Terry. That's all I'm gonna say about Scary Terry. I love Scary Terry. Going back over here to Cameron. We got the Chiefs against the Eagles, so we got Mahomes and Pacheco going Monday night for Cameron. Sorry, my girlfriend's AB's car's in the shop, so I was making sure she didn't need me to come pick her up from school. Which is gross to say out loud, actually. Anyway, Pacheco against the Eagles. Eagles stout run D, bad secondary. There's my analysis. Actually, top run D, bad secondary. And honestly, it's to the point where I'm kind of thinking I might start the Eagles defense against the Chiefs, but the Lions are playing the Bears and I got them. So, Brandon Cooks has finally come on the last couple weeks, and now he gets a bad Panthers defense. 107 last. Ooh. I didn't realize that Philly game. Oh yeah, he only had like one catch. Yeah, it was crazy. Last week, 173 yards and a touchdown. So maybe he can get cooking last half of the season. Although CeeDee Lamb has just been gobbling up balls, which Cameron would appreciate. Cortland Sutton against the Vikings. Vikings, another defense, good. Vikings defense has been good. They're ranked number 24 against wide receivers though. So I don't know. Russell Wilson honestly has not been playing that bad. Been playing solid. Cortland Sutton last week, 13.3 points. That's very respectable out of your flex. Has had a touchdown in Jesus, 4 straight games. 6 of his last 7, and in 8 games this year. So dude just scores. Has yet to break 100 yards, but he's got a touchdown in almost every game. The only teams he didn't score on were the Jets, in which he had 1 catch for looks like 13 yards. And against the Commanders, he only had 66 yards. Yeah, I mean, just 0 yardage, but he's getting touchdowns, so why not? Mark Andrews is awesome. He's back. Once again, the good news for Wade is you just get that game over with tonight. Not Wade. Why do I keep thinking Wade's in this game? He's not in this fucking game. I think it's because he had Mark Andrews last year, and I'm still brain fogging. Anyway, John, you get that game over with tonight, and you get Joe Mixon out of the way early, which is nice. But you got to deal with Mahomes and Pacheco on Monday, which sucks. Well, all your guys are going at 4 o'clock on, 3 o'clock on Sunday. The smart pick here is Cameron. Obviously, I do like the matchups that John has, and I hate the matchups for Cameron. So I'm going to go against the smart pick, and I'm going to pick John, mostly for the chaos factor once again. Just because I love chaos at the bottom of the bracket when I'm not involved. Anyway, so I'm going to pick John here. Second to last. Oh, Jesus, fuck, I'm sorry. That last sip of coffee really got to me. It was pretty acidic. Second to last matchup here, we've got Trevor and Andrew. I've already spoiled it. I'm picking Trevor to win this game, and I might pick Trevor to win every game from here on out. Just because, honestly, I think I need to look at the matchups, but I think if disaster strikes for a couple of teams, Trevor could make his way into it. Maybe if I have some time next week, or next week is Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna have shit. I'm not gonna have time. Actually, I will. I'm not doing shit next week. Anyway, maybe I'll sit down and figure out if he still has a shot. But if he loses this week, it doesn't matter. I think he's mathematically eliminated at that point. At least mathematically very unlikely, which I think he already is. Anyway, Jared Goff against the Bears. Jesus Christ. Josh Jacobs against the Dolphins. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it a lot. ETN against the Titans. I hate that matchup. Have they played already this year? I don't think they have. I think they played twice towards the end of the season. Maybe not. Oh, I bet they play in week 18, which isn't listed here. Yeah, I don't love it. I mean, you know, ETN, he's a workhorse. He gets his touches. They're coming off that really bad game to San Francisco, so you know, maybe I like them to tighten up a little bit. Because they're playing the Titans, get it? And they get that game at home, which I don't hate ETN here, but it's not my favorite. Holy fuck, Andrew, dude, what is your team? Dude, have you won a game this year? Joe Burrow goes tonight against the Ravens. AFC North, Ravens D. I expect a slobber knocker in that game, probably like a 17-13 matchups. I don't really see him doing anything too crazy. I said it. I think this is a bounce back week for Tony Pollard. Hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1, when he scored 2. But Carolina, the 31st ranked defense against the run. So Andrew, if it doesn't happen this week, I drop him. Don't trade him. Don't bench him. If he doesn't score a touchdown, I'm not even talking points here. If he doesn't score a touchdown, you have to drop him. And Roshan Johnson against the Lions, absolutely fucking hate that. God, you got Alvin Kamara on a bye, Chris Olave on a bye, DJ Moore against the Lions, which that we saw that Lions secondary can be exposed a little bit. Now, was that Justin Herbert? Yeah. Is Justin Fields Justin Herbert? No. So, take that with a grain of salt, but we did see them get absolutely torched last weekend. I love Deontay Johnson. I don't love him against the Browns. I know I took shots at the Browns defense earlier. Doesn't make the secondary bad though. I mean, look, let me be clear. I don't think the Browns defense is bad. I think they're closer to average than elite. How about that? That being said, the Steelers offense is dog shit. So good luck there. Travis Kelce, I'm not even trying to predict what he does at this point. I do think big Taylor Swift night. I saw reports that the parents were meeting. Obviously Taylor Swift's parents, big Eagles fans. She's from the Philly area. And obviously you have Jason Kelce, you have the ties there. So I do think the Kelces and the Swifts are gonna meet and be in a box together. So keep an eye on that. We do have Taylor watch, which probably means that Travis Kelce is gonna go just ballistic. And the tush push is gonna work 100% of the time because I'm assuming Jason Kelce gets some residuals there. Now will it be enough to overcome Jared Goff, Josh Jacobs, Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase, Cole Kmet? Oh yeah, and your Joe Burrow is just fucked by Jamar Chase. Sorry, Andrew. And Brian Robinson, who why has nobody talked about Brian Robinson? Dude has just been going off he's RB6 and nobody has mentioned his name. I didn't realize it till this week. I got on Reddit and people were like, holy shit, Brian Robinson. Yeah, holy shit, Brian Robinson. Anyway, good for him. I think Trevor is going to absolutely mollywop Andrew this week, and I think it could get ugly early. I think it could get ugly tonight. I mean, if you have Joe Burrow throw 2 touchdowns, which is not great for a quarterback, to Jamar Chase, which is awesome. Yeah, I think this one could get out of hand very early. Yeah. So now we go to the last matchup, which is going to be Timofey versus Wade. Not a lot of implications as far as the actual playoff picture, but a lot of seeding implications here. I say that. I mean, I think me and Raleigh are guaranteed in. I think John's guaranteed out. I think everybody else has at least a shot to make or miss the playoffs. Josh Allen stinks, maybe? Question mark. Here's what I do like about Josh Allen this week. It's the interim play caller. Always lights a spark. Always gets the boys rolling, especially if they like Joe Brady. I don't know if they like Joe Brady. I think he's gonna get fired up for Ken Dorsey as his QB coach. Even when Dable was there, obviously his OC the last 2 years. I think the boys get fired up, and I think they get right a little bit. Now, I don't think it's gonna fix them going forward the rest of the season. I think after this week, I think we'll still see a little bit of brokenness from them. But who knows? Now the Jets do have his number. The Jets do own Josh Allen. They kind of always, going back to last year, they have for a while. But that 3 picks in week 1, and when God, let's say about that devastating loss, man, that sucked. Jalen Hurts against Kansas City. Talked about the Kansas City defense. I think they're really good, but I mean, you're gonna get a rushing touch. You're gonna get a push touchdown. So who cares? And AJ Brown's gonna have 5 touchdowns because he's playing me. So I think you'll be good there. Ty Chandler, I don't really know how to grade just because I don't know who that is. But I like his name. So good. James Cook against the Jets. Wait, I fucking hate it. I hate it a lot. James Cook had a great game last week, 109 yards. Even though he got benched after the fumble, which is fucking stupid. Think he probably could have gone for 200 yards if if Sean McDermott wasn't old school coach. Actually, I didn't realize the Jets were giving up that many yards on the ground. I guess it makes sense. They don't have an offense. They're just getting run on all the time. So maybe sneaky look for James Cook. What did he do in week 1? I think he had a solid week, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, 46 yards rushing, 17 on in the air. I don't know. Maybe they let James cook a little bit. That being said, that Breece Hall against the Bills in week 1 had, I think it was 3 carries. I can see his yardage here. It was 127 yards on the ground and 1 reception for 20 yards. He had 15.2 points on, I think, 4 touches. So, yeah, I think Breece Hall goes absolutely fucking ballistic on Sunday. So, sorry, Wade. Although I've said that, I think, for the last couple weeks, and it really hasn't come to fruition. I mean, as long as there's no even threat to passing the ball, you know, there's only so much that Breece Hall can do. He's pretty reliant on just busting the big one in that offense. Like, not to say he's not efficient. He's a great runner. But he's going against stacked boxes. So unless he can get to the second level of a defense, not a whole lot he can do. Mike Evans against the 49ers. The 49ers are back. I've said it. Amon-Ra against the Bears. Just start every Lion this week. Like, it doesn't really matter. Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta. Even though they had, Amon-Ra had a great game, 156 yards and a tutter, 26.5 points. Laporta, I was kind of disappointed in his production last week. I mean, I wasn't, obviously, for obvious reasons, but I just thought he was going to do more against a bad Chargers defense. But against a bad Bears defense, there's room for everybody to eat. And Tyreek Hill is back. I'm not even against the Raiders. Fuck. Puka against the Seahawks. I don't really know what to think of the Rams. They're bad, obviously. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that they're not. And I kind of glossed over it with my matchup. I didn't even talk about Cooper Kupp. But I'll get into it here with the Seahawks, or with Puka. Obviously, if Brett Rippon is starting, I'll say this: if Brett Rippon ever starts again, I will bench Cooper Kupp. He's not going in the lineup. With Matt Stafford, it's hard to do, and it's probably going to take a couple weeks of them being bad for me to really give in. I mean, they played the Cowboys. You expect them to not, really do anything crazy. Against the Steelers, Kupp had a bad game, but Puka ate, so I wasn't too worried about it. The one against the Rams, or the one against the Packers, was tough. And this week against the 20th ranked Steve, yeah. If he doesn't do it this week or next week against the Cardinals, I'm kind of in the bench Rams territory. So just an update there, Wade. If you want to follow suit on Puka, I would welcome that. I'll say that I would welcome that. So as far as picking a winner here, it's Tim. Seems the highest scoring team all season. I honestly I don't think I picked him every week, but if you really wanted to look at like just go off projections and go off like just name for name, probably should have picked him every week. Anyway, that's the preview. Oh, what was I going to go back and look up? Who was Raleigh's losses? I remembered. Hey, baby. Big brain. Raleigh lost to, I know it was Andrew in week 1. There he is. Andrew lost and Tim in week 3. I was right. It was Tim and Andrew. Both in the playoff picture. Let me confirm that mine were Raleigh, yes. And then Cameron, Charlie were my 3 losses. You're gonna have losses, make it to be the people who are not close to you in the standings. So, yeah. Good luck, everyone.